Darkcast Network, indie pods with a dark side.
Hi, this is Kelly.
And this is Jenna.
And you're listening to ODFM.
This episode is one dope for murder.
As in like Homer Simpson?
Exactly.
Oh, okay.
This is one of those when we first started this and we were doing D words, I was like, man, it'd be fun to have an episode that we could go, dope. So
I love it.
The murder in this story is a dope. And then there is a series. So this story really fits because there's a whole series of dope, through this entire, it just keeps going.
We need this. It's like the world's dumbest criminals type. Dope.
It kind of is, man. I mean, this is definitely, it could qualify as one of those stories. So
I'm ready.
We are starting. This is September 20th, 2017.
All right.
So we're in a quiet suburban neighborhood in Everett, Washington, the state of Washington, which is about 30 minutes north of Seattle, to give you like a
idea of
frame of reference. Right. Okay. So it's just before 2 a.m. and there's a woman who wakes up to the sound of several loud pops.
Oh, shit.
Yeah,
it's probably not firecrackers.
It's never, right? It's just like, it's never a mannequin.
No. It's not New Year's Eve, and it's not.
Exactly, right?
4th of July. Okay.
She races downstairs to see another woman laying in a pool of blood just inside the front door of the house.
Oh.
And calls 911.
In her own house?
Yep.
Oh, what the?
Oh, yes. Okay, so at 1:56 a.m., Snohomish County Sheriff's Office. I'm probably butchering that.
Yep.
Am I?
Yes.
Snohomish?
Yeah, Snohomish.
Yeah.
I think it's right.
They received this 911 call from the woman is the live-in nanny of 3 kids.
Oh.
So yes, she lives there. She says the children's aunt, Alisha, is laying face down in a pool of blood. She can't tell. She's very panicked on the phone. She can't tell if she's conscious because she's like, I don't know what to do.
Yeah,
I don't know if I'm supposed to touch her
or
or move her. There's just a lot of blood. Alicia's not moving. I don't know what happened. I don't know where the shooter is. I don't know where the shooter came from. I don't.
And is the door open?
The door was closed, but maybe not latched
not
all the way.
Creepy.
The first officer on the scene is an officer, Art Wallen. And when he arrives, he's very cautious walking up to the door because, he can see there's bullet holes in the door. There's blood on the door, right? He's cautiously walking up. The nanny couldn't open the door for him because the victim was laying.
Oh, no.
Her body's right there, in the doorway. So she can't open. So the officer kind of had to gently push the door to get in the house and check. And they cleared the scene and all this.
Oh, that'd be hard.
But the first thing he noticed when he stepped inside the house was just beyond where the front door is, the foyer area of the house. Mm-hmm. There was obviously the TV room with a couch. And he looks and sees there is a toddler boy.
Oh, baby.
Just staring at him and the body of his aunt on the floor, all the blood, just this look of absolute horror on his face.
No.
That's
going to be a lifetime of therapy. Jesus.
Right. Exactly. It seemed that he had been asleep on the couch.
Oh, baby.
Right. Which also means he was very close to
was he with her at the time or something?
I don't think so. I think he was on the couch. But man, he was just feet from where it all happened.
Scary. He could have been in one of them.
He could have been hit. He could have been hit by a stray bullet, right?
Or he could have been the shooter. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that'd be a totally different story.
It's like the fetus with the gun.
Oh, yes,
imagined at some point.
Right,
yes.
right.
Yeah.
A fetus with a gun. Yeah, it's totally a legit theory. So the other 2 young kids, which were his sisters, they had been asleep upstairs. And the nanny was asleep upstairs in her room. She had gone to bed about midnight.
Okay.
And so they surmised that Alisha, the aunt, had been on the couch with her nephew. I don't know if they were watching TV or just
fell asleep.
They were slept
hanging out.
Right. No one had been expecting anyone to come over. This wasn't they weren't expecting anyone. No one should have come to the door.
Yikes.
The victim was 24-year-old Alisha Canales-McGuire.
Oh, she was young.
She didn't live at the house.
Huh. Was she visiting?
Yes, this was her sister's house. Her sister lived there with her 3 kids, and she had a live-in nanny. And she was only there for a couple of days to help because her sister was on a business trip in New York.
And maybe someone thought she was her sister.
No. You know, officers begin processing the scene, right? Shell casings were found on the ground outside the front door and leading up to the front door, like the walkway up to the front door.
Like they had started shooting as they're walking up it. Yeah.
Exactly.
That's fucking creepy.
There was a cluster of bullet holes in the area around the doorknob. So they were like, well, this was an ambush. Like she opened the door and they just started firing, right? That's what they kind of deduced is, so obviously for whatever reason, Alisha went to the door and probably wasn't, I mean, it's almost 2 a.m. It's not her house. So it seemed like she just kind of opened the door. That's what they guessed is like she probably opened the door a crack and went to peek her head out and
someone just started firing.
Someone started firing. So what they figured out was the way the house was laid out, the garage is in the front of the house.
Okay.
It's an attached garage. So the garage is set closer to the street than where the front door is.
Oh, that's just like mine. Yeah.
Yes, mine too.
Fine.
Right? Right? So based on the shell casings and the bullet holes and stuff, they figured that the shooter had probably been standing by the door of the garage around the corner where you couldn't see them. Like if there was a peephole or a window, right?
You would have to open the door a little bit.
You would have to open the door a little bit and then based on where the shell casings were, it's just like as soon as the door started to open, they came around the corner and just started firing.
Yeah, guess what I'm not going to be doing.
So it appears, well, see, I'm so glad I have like the video doorbell.
Yeah, I was going to say we have that and then we've got a camera above our garage. So
yes, same.
I will pre-check if I open the door. Yeah.
Pre-check everything, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they deduce that there's probably about 4 shots fired as the shooter walked towards the door. This is them like counting the casings. And then it looked like the shooter had probably reached into the house to fire a couple more times.
Oh, to make sure she was dead.
Dead. Because it's, you know, they don't really know. Like she could have kind of like, as she got hit, as she went down, could have pushed the door closed. Not really sure. But it looked like someone reached in and shot. So some of the shots came from inside the house, but not like the shooter was in the house. Just he stuck his arm through.
Yikes. And it's definitely not to go steal something.
Exactly. You're so good at this.
Right? I'm getting better. I feel like
listen to these? Do you listen to these?
Just a little bit. Yeah. Sometimes.
They, you know, quickly were like, okay, there's no evidence to suspect that the motive was burglary or sexual assault or entering the house of any kind, robbery. It was like, okay, it's clear that the objective of what just happened tonight was to kill Alisha.
Man, it's like a fucking hit.
Exactly. It was. It really, really was.
Just going to get this job done. Boom, boom, boom. On to the next.
Alisha Canales was, like I said, 24 years old. She grew up in Virginia on a farm. She worked as an aide at an assisted living facility.
Aww.
She was a caretaker type. The residents loved her. She was just a very nurturing, caring individual. That's just the kind of person that she was. You know, there's just some people that just have that. That was her. She was very compassionate. And in fact, she was killed at 2 a.m. So technically the day before she was killed, she had actually worked a 20-hour shift and then went to her sister's house to help the nanny take care of her nieces and nephews.
Oh, what a sweet woman. How sad.
Exactly.
She barely even got her life started.
Exactly. Because she had actually just gotten married 2 months before.
Oh, shit.
She was just married. She and her husband were starting their life together, and they were actually even trying to start a family right away. They were already trying to have a baby.
Aww.
I mean, it was just like everything was starting out for her. She's doing this good deed. She's helping her family. She's caring for people.
Totally. Aw. Right. Just being there per chance, and just by chance, someone's come by.
Right. Exactly.
The shit out of her.
So it's just like, what the heck? Where's the motive? Why? You know. So the first thing they did was they canvassed the neighborhood for any witnesses. Did anybody see anything? Anybody hear anything? Anybody
And I'm guessing her sister doesn't have a husband or something that's there.
Her sister is divorced.
Okay. Because
hence
nobody else
the live-in nanny to
nanny.
help with the kids. So because there's 3 young kids. I don't know their ages, but I know the youngest was a toddler, and I think the other 2, I'm guessing grade school-ish. Like, they're all really young. Police did find one neighbor who said that he heard the gunshots. Wasn't quite sure that that's what they were, but he heard the noise of the gunshots. And he looked out his window right away, and he did see someone in dark clothing, about 6 feet tall, running down the driveway away from the house.
So hard to tell,
right?
too. It's like late at night.
It's late at night. It's dark. They're in dark clothing. You know, you guess, like, man, I thank goodness for people who know heights and stuff, because they'd be like, how tall? I'd be like, somewhere between 5 feet and 10. I was
thinking the same thing, especially if you're like on an upper level looking down.
Right. That's what I was thinking. Looking down, I'd be like, well, the porch light of the house is about this high, and I want to say their head was this-ish, like around, like I would be the worst witness.
I'm terrible. Me too. I never pay attention to detail, and I keep telling myself, every time you're out, pay attention. Then I'm like, doo-be-doo. So
I feel like doing this podcast and watching all this true crime stuff, I should know better. And I just can't, my brain does not work that way.
Me neither.
Worst witness ever.
We need to take classes, witness classes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. There you go. What the other thing that this neighbor saw was, so he sees this figure like running down the driveway, and then he sees flashing car lights, like when a person uses their key fob to unlock their door. Which I found kind of amusing. I'm like, so you're going to go shoot somebody and you lock your car? Like, you're the bad guy.
Wouldn't you leave it unlocked so that you could get there faster without...
Right. No, he didn't want anyone to, steal his car while he was committing a murder.
He's like, if I'm here, other bad guys are probably here. So
how much crime is in this neighborhood? This isn't like an inner city, like, we're not like in downtown, Detroit or something like that. This is a quiet, nice neighborhood in a suburb and all
where
this.
You can afford a nanny. Yes.
What are the chances that while you're committing murder, someone's going to come and like steal your car radio? Like,
seriously,
I just found that so like, what? He locked his car?
It would be very inconvenient if you forgot to lock your car, then someone steals it as you're trying to run away. So
this is true. That would be another. That would totally be another.
Maybe he's like, oh shit, I don't want that to happen.
So he locked his car. So anyways, he was just like, I couldn't see the car or anything. I just saw like the flashing lights that are like the boop, boop. Right, exactly. Right. Like, what? The first person the police want to talk to is Alicia's husband. Because, they always got to cover the husband
especially
first,
if he's an ex. Yeah.
Right. No, this is Alicia. This is the aunt.
Oh, the aunt.
I'm sorry.
Yes,
the owner of the house is Amanda Canales.
See, I knew
their sister Amanda.
Okay.
Yep.
Alicia and Amanda.
And they do look alike.
Oh, crap. All right.
Yeah, they do look alike. They talked to her husband, Brad McGuire, who, obviously they have to notify, that his wife has been shot. And they were like, all right, we need to know where you are. He was at work at the time of the murder.
Oh, even the middle of the night?
Yeah, he's got a solid alibi. I don't know what he does, but he did something where he did third shift overnight work. So... But they asked him, they asked the nanny, they asked the sister, is there anyone in Alicia's life? Does anyone, have a reason to harm her or have any kind of beef with her? They're like, no, Alicia's awesome. Everybody loves Alicia.
All right.
Deputy Art Wallen, that was the officer that was the first person to arrive, right? After the 911 call. He had an immediate suspect in mind because he had been to Amanda Canales' house on York Road twice in recent months for domestic disturbance calls and order of protection violations.
Who's after Amanda?
Amanda's ex-husband, 30-year-old Kevin Lewis, was described by Deputy Wallen in this interview that I saw with him. He was like, he's a cop. This is what he does for a living, right? He's like, this is the kind of person that makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up.
Oh, well, that's help. Yeah. I mean, couldn't you do that before we get married? How about we have a cop?
Right?
If the cops around beforehand, okay, this one is a no.
Right.
No go on this guy.
He gives certain people a bad vibe. Obviously not his ex-wife at the time.
Yeah.
So in his dealings with Kevin in recent months, it immediately went to his head that he was like, oh, this is a guy that's capable of murder.
Okay, so we do need them around. It's like sniffer dogs for bombs, but it's like
yes, right.
sniffer
we need
people
sniffer
for
cops.
bads.
They need sniffer cops.
For bad,
right?
bad guys. Can you meet my new boyfriend, please, and see what you think? That would be amazing. It's a new cop service. See, they need extra moonlighting jobs.
There we
go.
I'm good with that. As you thought, so was Alisha killed by mistake? Was the target really supposed to be Amanda? Although this is what bothers me. Okay, whoever it was supposed to be. There was also a live-in nanny, and the 3 kids live in this house.
Right.
And it didn't look like the shooter spent any time.
They don't know who was going to answer the door.
Exactly. And it didn't look like they waited to see who was going to answer the door. They started shooting as soon as the door opened, went around the corner. That's what the forensic evidence at the scene. That's horrifying, right? What if one of the kids had opened the door?
Yeah, absolutely.
What if it had been the nanny? I don't know anything about the nanny. I couldn't find pictures of the nanny. I couldn't find her actual, her name or anything like that. I don't know. What if she looked like them also?
Totally.
Oh my God.
And you would think actually it would have been the nanny to open the door.
Exactly. Right. You don't know that the owner of the house is going to, but that was Deputy Wallen's like, I think we got to look at her ex-husband. Like, yeah,
well, obviously, especially if you had a bad feeling about him in the beginning.
And so when they notified Amanda, who's on her business trip in New York, of what happened at her house and that her sister had been killed, they asked, they're like, do you have any idea? And she was like, yeah, my ex-husband. Absolutely. That was her first thought too.
Why would you? Oh, shit. I was thinking, why would you leave your kids alone if you really think they're in that much danger too? But you still have to.
But if that wasn't the target, but still, who's going to, it's just, okay.
Yikes.
So Amanda Canales and Kevin Lewis had been together for 10 years, married for 8. They had 3 kids together, 2 girls and a boy. But their relationship, as good as it was at the very beginning, grew toxic very quickly.
Fun.
Yep.
Great marriages.
As we've heard countless times before, as sad as it is, it started with Kevin being emotionally abusive, and then it moved into physical abuse. Kevin had assaulted her multiple times, had threatened to kill her. She told police that Kevin was ex-military and had firearm training.
Oh, wow. Yeah, it just keeps getting better.
And when they separated, Amanda had gotten an order of protection against Kevin.
Which is that little piece of paper that didn't do shit.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So, and that's exactly what happened here. So things keep escalating, right? Kevin violated the order of protection twice. And both times it happened to be Deputy Wallen. Obviously, this is his area, his designated area, right?
Okay.
Both times in the previous months when she had called police, he's the one who had been there, or at least one.
Good.
Right?
Well, that's good because then it corroborates more of what they were saying.
Exactly.
And gives him a good idea of what this guy's like.
Right. So the first time Kevin showed up to Amanda's house in the early hours of the morning, like 4 or 5 a.m. And I don't know if she woke up. I don't know how she knew it, but he had been sneaking around her house trying to find a way in.
Whoa.
Like she could hear him testing the windows and the doors and all that, right? So she calls police that time. The second time he showed up, this time he actually wanted to confront Amanda and was pounding on the front door, and she refused to answer.
Yeah, good.
She called police, but then while she was waiting for them to show up, she had to sit there and listen. She said she was hiding in her closet and she could hear him, again, testing different ways to get in the house.
Does he have any partial custody, do we know, of the kids at all?
He does not.
Oh, thank God.
So I'm about to get to that part. So Deputy Wallen, who had been there both of those times, he had already noted in his past dealings that not only was Amanda terrified of Kevin, he noted when he was there that the children were terrified of him.
Oh, how horrible. They're never going to trust men.
Oh, God, you're right. Oh, that's awful. The problem, and I don't know, I couldn't find information on it, but both times, even though he violated the order of protection, they weren't able to charge Kevin with a crime on either occasion.
What?
Like you said, those orders of protection, man.
Oh, they're nothing.
They just don't do what they're meant to do. It's not enough or whatever. So the murder took place September 20th of 2017. In June of 2017 is when Amanda and Kevin's divorce was finalized.
Wow. Not very long.
Right. That same month on June 21st, I couldn't find out if this happened before or after the divorce was finalized, but it's right in that same time frame. Amanda had been brutally attacked in her own driveway.
Oh, no.
Yes. So she said it was late at night. She had just gotten home. She pulled into her driveway. She opens the door to her car to get out.
Ugh.
And as she's about to step out, she gets hit in the head.
Oh, shit.
And then she just repeatedly just keeps getting, she just basically got beaten. She was hit repeatedly. She never saw her attacker. She had blood in her eyes and couldn't see. She ended up just absolutely covered in bruises. She had a black eye, cuts. So
she didn't even know what was hitting her.
No, it's just like she just pulled into the driveway and opened her door and just bam,
that's
out
horrifying.
of nowhere.
So obviously someone was hiding when she drove in.
Someone was laying in wait, which sounds a lot like the shooter, right?
Yeah.
But since she hadn't actually seen Kevin's face, police couldn't arrest him.
Come on. But
still, I know. But she insisted. She's like, I know it's him. I knew it was him.
Of course it is. Yeah.
But she got hit like just so quick and it just was coming that I don't know if she even saw like a shirt or feet or I don't know that she saw anything. And the pictures of her from the hospital were just horrifying, right? The next month in August, Amanda was granted full custody of all 3 children.
Okay, good.
And Kevin was ordered to pay her $800 a month. And he was livid.
Great. Another thing to piss him off even more.
And this is August. This is not that long before the shooting.
Yeah, right before.
Right. So police are like, all right, we're pretty confident Kevin Lewis is our suspect, right?
Sounds perfect.
Exactly. So they drive over to Kevin Lewis's house, right? Because they're like, all right, we think we know where the suspect is, right? We need to go talk to him. And they said they went, it was the early hours of the morning. I believe it was the same morning. Oh. And they go to confront him, but they're being cautious because they're like, well,
yeah, if this guy's
armed,
the
shooter, he could be armed and dangerous. Exactly. Right. So they were like, we don't know if we're going to find him caught off guard. We don't know. But he opens the door. He's awake, alert, calm, right?
Because he's been up since 2.
Right? And when they told him there's been a shooting at your ex-wife's house, he didn't seem surprised.
Like, I know. Duh.
Right. He was just like, and? Like,
yeah.
Like, okay. Yep. But they did notice a change in his demeanor when they asked him if he had any idea where his ex-wife was.
And
he's right. And he's
I thought she was dead, but
right. He was like, she should be home.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah. Other people live there, you dumbass.
Hey, idiot.
So he was really confused. Officers purposely didn't say who had been killed. They purposely said
that. What if it's one of your fucking kids? Dope.
Right. That, there had been a shooting and that his ex had not been home at the time. And that's when they noticed that Kevin seemed upset that Amanda, they felt it was more he was upset that Amanda was not the victim. Not that there was a shooting, not who got killed. They also made mention that he never once asked about his kids.
Whoa, really?
Were they there? Did he see it? Did anybody get hurt? Where are they now? Are they being taken care of?
Didn't give a shit about them either.
No, this guy is such a piece of shit.
Slime.
Oh my God. Did not care at all, which also makes sense why you would just knock on the door and fire and not give a crap. So Kevin tells police, well, I've been home all night with my mother and sister. They both live there too. And of course they vouch for him.
Well, yeah, they're afraid of him.
Right. As well they should be. This guy is right.
Sounds great.
But police have no probable cause at this time, or at least nothing. They can't tie him in any way. They're just like, everything points to him, but there's no
evidence
thing, right? Yeah. There's no evidence, right? And at that point, Kevin declined to answer any more of their comments or questions.
Shit.
So they're like, all right. So they have to leave him and they just go to work on searching for evidence that's going to tie him to the shooting. What can we do? We know who our guy is. How do we prove it, right?
Let's go get a warrant and find that gun.
The house Kevin lived at was on a cul-de-sac. They were able to find 2 homes with cameras in the neighborhood, right? One of those houses, the camera was pointed that had a pretty decent view of Kevin's driveway.
Good.
They asked to see the video from their camera, and they do. And they are able to see that at 1:12 a.m. Now, the shooting happened. The 911 call came in at 1:56 a.m. They saw that at 1:12 a.m. on that morning, a car pulled up into Kevin's driveway. So this is about 45 minutes before the shooting, right? Give or take, right? So, and a few minutes after the car pulled up, they saw someone who they were pretty confident they could identify as Kevin. I saw somewhere they said, like, you know, it was a male that fit his description, and he was wearing a white shirt. And when they went to his house to confront him, he also was wearing a white shirt.
Okay.
But, you know, white shirts are pretty common.
Yeah.
I mean,
they're probably the most common, but.
So they were fairly certain what they saw was Kevin walked out of the house, got into the passenger seat of that car, and then the car drove away.
With someone else.
Right. Okay, this looks promising. But then the car comes back at 1:34.
Oh.
And that's like 20 some minutes before the shooting. The car comes back and they see Kevin get out of the car and go back into the house.
Oh.
And then
I was thinking
leaves.
maybe the person dropped him off, but then again, he had beeped the car to get back in.
That's true. There wasn't somebody to let him in. Right. Police are like, okay, well, he's obviously lying. He wasn't here all night. But it looks like we have evidence that even if he wasn't here all night, he was here when the shooting occurred. So,
shit.
Okay.
But he could still hire someone.
Yeah, absolutely. That happens all the time. So they had to go back and focus on the crime scene evidence. So like, all right, well, we got to turn our attention back to the evidence. So the shell casings were sent to the Washington State Crime Lab. And what they discovered was the ammunition that was used was a little bit unique.
Ooh, okay.
It was kind of funny the way they said this, that it was unique. It was Russian-made ammunition that had a steel cartridge casing. I was like, oh, that is unique.
Yeah, to us, it seems really unique.
Right. But then the lead detective mentioned that he knew that it was also sold at the local Walmart. I'm like, then how unique is it?
Okay. Apparently we get a lot from Russia that we didn't know.
It's common enough that they sell it at Walmart, not just a gun store.
Like a major retailer.
Right. And the lead detective on the case, this is knowledge that he has.
Right.
Just like, so I'm like, I don't know that unique was the right word.
No, like, no. It's just sold. It's sold in masses. So I don't know.
I don't know anything unique that you get at Walmart. It's like,
that's very true.
Unique stuff. My God, that shirt is so crazy unique. Where did you get it? Walmart. I mean, right? That's just right. But they're like, okay, so they head to that local Walmart. They recover video because they video where the ammunition sales are, right? So they recover video of a customer who had recently purchased that type of ammunition, right? Okay. This person also happened to be a 6 foot tall man. Okay. This sounds like what the neighbor saw running down the driveway. That's cool. But that person wasn't Kevin Lewis.
Okay. That's what I was going to ask. Okay. Did it look like Kevin? No.
No, unfortunately it didn't. But they still were doing their due diligence. They were able to match up the timestamp from the video to the store's receipt records and get a name for who bought the ammunition.
Ooh.
So they're like, cool. Now, I don't know who the name of this person is. This man did have a lengthy criminal record.
Ooh.
But when they went to talk to him, he had a very solid alibi for the morning of the murder. Dead end.
Not that good.
They're like, crap.
Yeah.
So again, maybe unique wasn't the right.
Right. Just meaning that maybe not everybody uses that brand all the time.
Exactly. But again, if it's sold at Walmart, it seems like
it's not organic.
At this point, they're like kind of running out of ways to tie Kevin to the murder. They're like, where do we go now?
So they don't have enough evidence to try to get a warrant.
They can't charge him with anything. They're like, we don't have anything else.
That sucks.
The case stalls.
Yuck.
Then in 2018, this is a year later, maybe not a full year later. I don't know when in 2018. Some of this stuff, it was really hard to find dates on. But sometime in 2018, Kevin assaulted Amanda again.
Oh, come on, dude.
This time, whatever he did, he got arrested. Thank goodness.
That puts a record on him.
He went to trial. Amanda testified that Kevin wanted full custody of the kids and had threatened to kill her.
Yeah, no, that does not put him in a good light for getting full custody of the children.
Exactly. And I'm sorry. all I can think of is he wants the full custody of the kids purely to hurt her.
Spite. Yeah.
Because I don't think
he's not a good dad.
Crap. She also testified in that trial that she was convinced that whoever shot her sister in her home was hired by Kevin to kill her.
So she did think that.
She's like, I absolutely believe it was still him. He just wasn't the trigger man, right?
Yeah.
So Kevin ends up being convicted of 2 counts of second-degree assault and received 39 months in jail.
Good. Ooh, so can they go check his house?
If they could, they didn't say.
Damn.
I know. And it's not just his house. He lives with his mom and his sister.
That's
so
true.
I don't know.
That's true.
Then in August of 2018, which is almost a full year after the shooting, a call comes into the sheriff's office. And it's a young woman with a tip to say that she had been at a party in Spokane, Washington, where a teenage girl had been bragging about shooting somebody in Everett, Washington.
This is why you don't hire teenagers to do things.
No! Spokane is on the other side of Washington. It's about 5 hours away. So at first when this person calls in, they're like, okay, so somebody at a party was bragging about a murder. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Like, does this have anything to do with it?
Unfortunately, people think it's cool to brag about committing murders. But the tipster goes on to say that this girl, that she had been hired to kill somebody. She mentioned that it was at a house on York Road.
Oh.
Right? Which is the street Amanda lived on.
Wow. And that she remembered all this is kind of amazing.
And man, maybe talk about someone who goes to a party, drinks, and just word vomits.
Serious.
Really? The tipster, she admits to these people at this party that she doesn't know that the victim had been shot in the head. This was something that police had not released to the public.
Oh.
They did not release the extent of the injuries. They had just said that Amanda had been, Alisha had been shot. Yeah. They didn't specifically say where.
Oh,
so they're like, all right, we're listening. You've said York Road now. You've said she was shot in the head. She also, I'm telling you, this girl she just could not keep her friggin' mouth shut. She said that the shooter had hid around a corner and started shooting the victim from there. This was also not publicly made information. And they're like, oh, okay. So they're like, all right, who is this? So you met this girl at a party. Who is this? Unfortunately, the tipster only knew that the woman at the party, her name was Angelica, spelled with a K.
Okay.
Angelica.
How did she know? Yeah, maybe that's how she introduced herself.
That was really weird. They didn't really explain that.
I'm Angelica with a K.
That Angelica had said that she was there and participated in the murder, but that she was not the shooter. It was her boyfriend who had fired the gun.
Is her boyfriend Kevin?
Her boyfriend is not Kevin.
Oh, all right. Let's get deeper.
There was one more thing that Angelica mentioned, which was, and I don't know why you would admit this, but she's like, also, we goofed and killed the wrong person. I just was like,
what the fuck?
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, guess who we're not going to hire if we do something like this?
Oh my God. Yeah. Your career as being a hitman is over. Like,
you idiot.
Oh my God. Yeah. So she blurted all this out at a party a year later.
Dipshit.
I figured like that was a don't
murder.
Yeah. The detectives start doing extensive searches on social media to find this Angelica person.
At least it's with a K, because that's a little more unique.
That helps, right? Again, I don't know how she found that out.
It's more unique than Walmart.
Right. But you're right. It's more unique than Walmart. Oh, God. But they do find Angelica. They find that there's a person named Angelica with multiple aliases, several accounts, and they're able to pinpoint that her real name was Alexis Hale, and she was 17 years old.
Shit.
Right. And this is a year later, which means at the time of the murder, she was 16.
16.
Which kind of explains some of the stupidity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Like, man, are you not thinking of consequences at all, girl? My God.
No.
Right? And from searching all of her social media, they were able to determine that her boyfriend was 18-year-old Jaredon Phelps. And they're like, okay, Jaredon Phelps.
He's already got a record.
Okay. He's clean.
Oh, whoa.
No, both of them are totally clean.
That's very shocking. I assumed they were like,
no,
street kids, drugs, all sorts of shit.
Not at all.
Great.
So Jaredon Phelps is 18, which means the year before he was about 17, 18 at the time. Right?
They were babies. What are they doing?
Exactly. They're idiots.
Go do your homework.
Oh, God. So they're also trolling his social media.
Good.
And as they're doing that, they find that he was followed by a woman named Crystal Phelps. Okay. And they're like, okay, they're able to determine that Crystal Phelps is his aunt.
All right.
Okay. And as the detectives are sharing this information, they're like, Crystal Phelps, that name's familiar. Where do we know Crystal Phelps? Crystal Phelps is Kevin Lewis's mother.
What?
So that means Jaredon is Kevin's cousin.
Shit. So now we know why Kevin's the way he is.
We got Alexis Hale, who's 16. Jaredon Phelps, who's 16 at the time of the murder. Jaredon Phelps, who's 17, 18 at the time of the murder. No criminal records on either of them.
Right.
But, they're looking through, again, if there's any lesson to be taken from this story, besides, make sure you're hitting the right target if you're going to.
Yeah, there's so many lessons.
Right. Yeah, there's a couple lessons. Is if you're going to do illegal things, don't post your shit on social media.
Oh.
How big of an idiot are you?
I mean, yeah.
So
okay, I got to hear this.
Their Snapchat accounts had all kinds of incriminating evidence. I mean, these are two people that police had
no clue.
way. They had no clue. They lived on the other side of the state. Okay. So they found that in the hours after Alicia's murder, right? 3:47 a.m. Okay. The murder took place just before 2 a.m. Alexis had posted a video she took of Jaredon fanning a giant wad of cash in $100 bills.
Wow. Wonder where that came from.
Someone just got paid for something, right? And it's a lot of money for a 17, 18-year-old boy, right?
Oh, no.
They also found that she had posted several selfies where it appeared that she was in a bathroom or like in front of a mirror, posing with a gun.
Oh, there it is. I was waiting for a gun picture.
Right,
yes.
In front of her face, to the side. And it was just like, oh my God, you're
fucking stupid.
Granted, from the Snapchat, they couldn't completely identify the gun or whatever, but
still, it just shows
it was
that
close
you have
enough.
one.
Right. It was close enough that they're like, yeah, that could be the murder weapon. That's the right type of gun based on the shell casings. All right.
All right. Yeah.
Detectives were also able to use a video that she posted that confirmed her location about an hour before the murder took place.
Oh.
So remember, they're from Spokane, 5 hours away, other side of the state, right?
Oh, God.
The Snapchat video showed that at 12:49 a.m., which is about an hour before the murder.
Oh, shit.
She posted video of them driving in the car. So the streets, it captured the street signs.
Oh, my God.
So you could see that she was traveling on Interstate 405 in Bellevue, which was very close to Kevin's house.
Oh my God. It just keeps getting worse.
Oh my God.
Pile up all the evidence for you. Here you go.
Exactly. It was just like, oh my God, here's everything we needed. So from that, they're able to get a search warrant for her cell phone and GPS, with the GPS coordinates from hers, right? The data showed that Alexis and Jaredon had driven from Spokane that late that night from where they lived out to Everett. So they were able to use their cell phones data to say, all right, so in the hours before earlier that evening, they drove from Spokane.
So we know where you came from.
Right. They were able to determine that it was their car, that that car that Alexis was in that picked up and dropped off Kevin shortly after 1 a.m. But before they're like, oh yeah, that's because they used their phone data, right? They got Jaredon's phone data, they got her phone data, and they're like, look, we know exactly where they are. Here's where they're at Kevin's house, right?
Oh, shit.
Then they were able to track Jaredon's phone to Amanda's house.
Oh, well, there it is. Hi, it was me.
Right. Hi,
I'm the problem. It's me.
I'm the problem. It's me. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. You guys are fucking
geniuses.
Morons. Yes. Police are like, okay, so looks to us like Alexis and Jaredon drove from Spokane, came to Everett, picked up Kevin. Kevin drove them to Amanda's house. Then they drove Kevin back home so he wouldn't be in the vicinity of the murder at the time. And then the stupid couple drove back to Amanda's house by themselves to commit the murder.
Oh, and how dare he like bring kids into this so that
God, right.
he wouldn't have to take the rap for something.
Right?
Dick.
All right. So Kevin's already in jail at this point, right? Because he's still serving time for his most recent assault on Amanda, right?
Right. Wonderful.
So they know exactly where he is and they charge him with murder.
Good. They don't have to
we
track
know where
him
he
down.
is, right? Jaredon Jaredon are arrested and they're interrogated separately.
From high school.
Right, exactly. They just picked him up after class.
Can you come to the principal's office, please?
Right, exactly. I have a pass for Alexis to come to the office. There's a police officer here to take her away.
There's someone here to talk to you.
So police interrogate them separately, and they're like, well, we're about to get a whole shit ton of information from Alexis because this girl can't keep her mouth shut.
No.
She's already done it to like a person at a party. She puts everything on social media. But it turned out that it was Jaredon that had the guilty conscience and broke down in his interview.
Yes.
He admitted that around 1 a.m. on September 20th, he drove to his cousin Kevin's house. Kevin got in the car, gave him $2,400 in cash and $100 bills. That's it. He did this for $2,400.
I guess when you're a teen with no job or anything, it sounds like
that probably
a lot,
seemed like, right? He hit the jackpot, right?
Dude.
Then he said that Kevin showed him a picture of the woman he wanted killed. Actually, what he said was he wanted her out of the way.
Oh, wonderful.
Okay. Yeah. Showed him a picture and then drove with them to point out the exact house. But Jaredon swore he didn't know who the woman was, did not know that it was Kevin's ex-wife, had no clue. Didn't even know her name.
They didn't even want any details. They're just like, sure, I'll do this for you.
Exactly. But he went as far as to point out the house.
Yeah.
But didn't make sure that she was home.
Yeah. Or say, hey, my kids are in there. Don't shoot a kid.
Exactly. And he must have known there was a live-in nanny too, right? I mean, he must have, well, I don't know. He wasn't very involved. Maybe he had no clue. I don't know. Yeah. So he's like, no, I had no idea it was his ex-wife. There was someone he wanted out of the way.
Oh, my
Dude,
God.
You're taking someone's life. You don't even bother to find out why or who they are.
Yeah. Obviously, their brain's probably just not completely developed yet,
not
partly,
developed.
But also, I think my kids would know better. I hope they'd fucking know better, but
I think that my kids are not this stupid. And they're considerably younger. I don't think they're this dumb.
Yes.
Is just
and they have sympathy. Why do these kids
yeah. I mean, they would, right. I mean, shit, my kids ask more questions when I ask them to pick up their toys.
Why does it need to be done right now?
Right.
Why does
exactly.
No, this guy's like, oh, money. Sure. Gross.
So Jaredon was even willing to do a videotaped walkthrough with police of what happened that night. He told them exactly how it went down, that Alexis had knocked on the door while he hid around the corner of the garage, because they did think through to the point where if there was going to be a knock on the front door at 2 a.m.,
a woman would be less scary.
A young girl knocking on the door, they would be more willing to open the door. So that's what happened. So she went up, she knocked on the door, and then she ran. And as soon as what's her name? Not Alexis. There's too many A's in this one.
I know.
There's Alisha. So yeah, Alisha had been like, okay, and had cautiously opened the door, poked her head out, and he came around and just started
shooting. Jeez.
So he said as soon as he saw a woman peek her head out the door, again, didn't check to see who the woman was.
It's also not like, here, stand there. I got to check this picture. Yeah.
Right. But maybe he should have asked, like, is this the only person who lives at this residence?
Or said, are you Alisha? Or are you Amanda?
Right.
And if she's like, yes, then.
Right. No, yikes. He just, as soon as she cracked open the door and poked her head out, he fired. Shit. He just began shooting and walked towards the door. He said after the third or fourth shot, the woman had closed the door. I don't know if she closed it or if she leaned against it and it closed or whatever, but the door closed. But he stepped up on the porch, reached in beyond the door and shot 2 more times and then ran.
Wow. So brutal.
And they had no idea until later, probably not until Kevin told them that they had killed the wrong woman.
And I'm sure they had no remorse either, or not too much, just bother them to do it in the first place.
They did both plead guilty, at least, to first-degree murder. Jaredon Phelps... Wait, where's the... Oh, yeah. Jaredon Phelps was sentenced to 31 and a half years.
Ooh,
I don't understand the half year.
Yeah.
I don't know what gives you...
Maybe he was
It's an odd number, too. It's
half.
31 and a half. I don't know how they figure that out, but whatever. So he pled guilty, so he didn't have a trial. Alexis Hale also pled guilty. She received 15 years in prison. Jeez. Was it worth it, you morons?
Yeah, now you have no young life. When they get out, they won't know how to take care of themselves.
They didn't at the first. Yeah, you're right. They didn't in the first place. They're not going to learn it in jail.
No, it's going to be worse. Shit.
Kevin, however, pled not guilty.
Oh, evil genius here. Evil genius
Right.
coming on out.
He's like, that wasn't me, man.
Yeah.
He went to trial in November of 2021. And Jaredon, his cousin, the shooter, testified against him. So he testified that he agreed to kill someone for Kevin for 2 reasons. Money and what he referred to as street cred.
Yeah, honey. No. I'm sorry, but no.
Oh, my God. This is a quote from him in his testimony.
The street cred of Spokane.
Exactly. I kind of wanted to do it so I could say that I had done it before.
Oh, wow.
It's not like being able to say like, hey, I've been skydiving.
Right.
Hey, I've gone golfing. Hey, I've done deep sea fishing. He just wanted to be able to say he had done it.
So now he can get that teardrop tattoo in jail.
God.
Yeah.
Jeez.
So tough.
And this is another, like, I can't even believe. He said that Kevin had sent him a Snapchat offering him cash to, quote, get somebody out of the way. What is with them in Snapchat?
They all think it gets erased right away. They don't realize that it can be saved.
The internet lives forever, you fucking idiots.
It's saved, baby. It's saved.
Sent me a Snapchat.
Oh, shit.
I can't even, right?
Yeah. No, that's why is they think it, because some expire and they go away. So they were thinking it's never going to be seen.
Everything from Snapchat doesn't disappear. The internet lives forever. Fucking
that's
idiots.
So funny. Okay.
Jaredon asked his girlfriend Alexis to help him because, he needed the brains of the operation.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Help me out.
Whatever. So probably also because he had no street cred and he didn't know how to get a gun. So he went to Alexis. Right. So he went to Alexis and Alexis was able to get a pistol from her sister.
Oh, that's where it came from.
Right.
All
so
right.
he was able to, so he needed someone to get him a gun. So he also testified that he used the $2,400 that he was paid to, I'm going to try not to laugh as I say this.
All right.
To buy a pair of Timberland boots.
Oh.
A Ferragamo belt buckle.
Oh, yeah.
Some brand name athletic pants and tattoos.
To make his street cred official.
I mean, well, yeah, because now he's got the cred. He needs the clothing. He's got to look
looking
the
like
part.
Nelly out there. Yeah.
Look the part. I'm like, you serious? And this was another to me, just like of the $2,400, he only gave Alexis $200 of it for her part.
For the filming of the operation.
Right. For taking them down.
No doubt.
I mean, she did supply the murder weapon.
Yeah, she
But then all she did was knock on the door. But I'm just like, you guys did $2,400, and he was like, here's a little something for you. Here's $200
here, honey.
You.
I got you. I got you, baby.
I just was like, oh God.
Straight pimping.
I believe it was a 6-week trial, but it only took the jury 3.5 hours to convict Kevin Lewis, who at the time of his trial was 34. He was convicted of aggravated first-degree murder and sentenced to life in prison. He's not going anywhere, but
that backfired, honey.
My favorite part of the story is he has been absolutely forbidden from any contact for life, for any contact with his cousin, his ex-wife, or his children.
Good. Yes, bitches. Oh, how sad that Alisha had to die for nothing.
Right. And her sister has so much guilt because she feels like it should, it was meant to be me. Mm-hmm. But she also has the guilt of like, I married this guy who has done well,
she was also super young when she got married, and we don't have the sniffing cops yet.
We need to work on that.
Date sniffers. Yeah.
So I just feel like this was a whole episode
Definitely.
of
dipshit dolts.
Right.
Yeah.
You got the wrong person. You sunk yourself by like, you filmed it. You put everything on the internet.
You Snapchatted everything.
You gave yourself away at a party.
You got Timberland boots and Fairbound. It's just dope.
I hope that street cred does something for you in the slammer. Sorry. Yeah. Oh God.
Maybe his teardrop needs to be baby blue because it's like I was just a child.
Baby blue. Oh my God. Would you like to hear my sources on this one?
Yes. I think I need to see if you watched a show on this.
I did. I watched On the Case with Paula Zahn. It was season 25, episode 1, Zero to Murder, which they said they called it that because the shooter, Jaredon Phelps, he had no record. He just he was offered cash and he went, okay. So he went from just no criminal record to murderer.
Dude.
I also got some info from theCinemaholic.com, people.com, and heraldnet.com.
Nice. So, good story.
Yeah.
Thank you for our dope.
Thank you, everybody, for listening to another edition of Dumbass Criminals Who Have No Business being on Snapchat, having a gun, killing people. You're too stupid.
Or getting street cred.
And you can't even take your Timberlands and your Ferragamo belt to jail.
I'm sorry, honey. They're going to Goodwill.
Yeah. Shit.
All right. Well, thanks,
everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Oddies. Thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM. If you're a longtime listener, hey, we cannot thank you enough for your continued support. And if you're a new listener, thanks for giving us a try. If you like us, please drop us a like, subscribe, or rate us so we can share our stories with more people around the world. And if you'd like more information, like links to our podcast and socials, along with our Patreon fan page, those links are all on Linktree under ODFM Podcast. That's linktr.ee/ODFM Podcast. Side note, you guys, we're obsessed with fan art, and we love making things with it, like stickers for our fans. So if you'd like us to use your designs, send it to us at odfmpodcast@gmail.com. And if we use your design, we'll be sure to send you a sticker.
Thanks for listening to another episode of ODFM, hosted by Kelly DeVries and Jenna Swanson. Production and editing by Kelly DeVries. Theme music by Eric Swanson. ODFM is a satirical true crime podcast for entertainment purposes only. The stories you hear are serious and true. The comments and opinions are not. We apologize if any of our content is harmful or disrespectful.